we're on, well, we're not really on track. We're behind schedule, but we can still make this race thing if we buckle down. So stick around. We'll do that. We'll do the walk around, show you where we're at. And we also got, I got a giveaway coming up. I got to give you guys details how we're going to do the trivia giveaway and announce the live stream and all that stuff. So stick around because you're not going to want to miss it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Montana Garage. I have been absent from YouTube for a few weeks. Life, traveling, work, trying to get the car done without spending a bunch of time editing and filming. So I apologize for that. So I thought I would pop in here and just do a quick video to get you caught up to speed to where we're actually at in real time on our race to get to Rocky Mountain Race Week. As you can see over my shoulder here, the car looks about the same as where we last left off. It's still up on jack stands. It's still far from done, but I have, believe it or not, actually got quite a bit of work done. So as I said before, we'll do a quick, walk around and get you caught up to speed in a little bit. But first, today's project is Operation Paint Hanging Parts. I got some miscellaneous stuff for the front end hanging up here. And we're gonna try our hand at spraying some more SPI epoxy on all that stuff and try to turn it black. It's mostly, or I guess it's all stuff for the front radiator core support and that sort of thing, so we can get the radiator put in here. Because believe it or not, we are almost ready to fire this thing up. I mean, today, tomorrow, soon, it's gonna be making noise. So that's kind of where we're at as a teaser. I don't know if we'll fire it in this video or not. You may have to come back for the next one for that, but it's happening. We're on. Well, we're not really on track. We're behind schedule, but we can still make this race thing if we buckle down.
Let's start with a little tour of our hanging parts maze. Sides to the core support. This is the top of the grill bar, hood latch, actual core support, front splash panel, thingamabobber doohickey, and then last but not least, the radiator. I may or may not have, I definitely did, steal this out of the DD Speed Shop 57 Chevy. I think it's a little better than the one I got for sure. Yeah, mine has like holes in it that have been patched together and whatnot. So we'll put this in the 55. We'll figure out the 57 Chevy later back there. A lot of people have said you shouldn't paint these things because you lose cooling efficiency and whatnot. And other people say they've painted theirs and haven't had any issues. So we're just gonna turn it black, and then we're just gonna do a light misting on the, I just don't want to see the silver through the grill, or especially I don't want this big silver, behemoth in there when everything else is pretty much black. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's get the paint mixed up. And I already tried to kind of clean up good enough-ish. And so we'll mix up some paint and then we'll squirt. We have some SPI epoxy here. If you guys have been around for a while, it's the same stuff I sprayed in my firewall that I had to do like 857,000 times. But we had a little bit of a bad batch, I guess, and it eventually worked out and it sprayed nice. And I still do like the product. Everybody swears by it, so we're gonna give it another go. I actually just sprayed it recently on my roll bar. I filmed that. You guys may or may not see it. And anyways, hopefully that'll be coming up and you guys can see how well that did or didn't go. But this stuff is an epoxy. It kind of separates the solid separate out, so you gotta mix it good. Hopefully it shouldn't be too bad, so just mix it. I'll shake it a little bit and we'll get the stir stick out. We'll mix it 1-to-1 with the activator, and then we're gonna let it sit for like a half hour while we take care of some other stuff before we spray. So that's what's up. You just saw me blow the dust and whatnot off of these, and I used a big leaf blower instead of, obviously I have a little blowgun for my air compressor, but I have a separate line for painting and it has a different fitting on it. So my blowgun don't go on there, and I don't want to use my regular line that may or may not, let's be honest, I'm not very good about draining the oil in the tank. So there's probably, or draining the water in the tank, and it gets like an oily, watery mixture. And obviously that's contaminated my normal hose. So I try to keep my separate hose for painting, separate for just for painting. If I had a blowgun for that one, I would have used that because it should be uncontaminated, hopefully, or not as contaminated. But I saw that little tip from, I think, Half Rods. If you guys watch his channel, or if you haven't, you should. He's got a lot of good Try 5 Chevy tips and tricks. I think he's one that suggested use your leaf blower. It actually surprising how well that thing blows, but the The downside is I'm not in a super clean environment. It does kind of kick up a little dust in here. It's going to be another half hour or so before I spray. And now I'm going to wax and grease, remove everything. And then hopefully the dust will settle. It's not really dusty. I just kicked up a little bit of the little cottony stuff that's in here because of the freaking, there's cotton everywhere outside because of the springtime or whatever, you know? So let's wax and grease and then spray, baby. So that puts a wrap on kind of the prep work I got to do. You do need to let the wax and grease you need to wait. I think they say 45 minutes or so. I'd have to look at the book again. 30, 45 minutes. You have to wait for it to make sure it's all evaporated or dissipated or disappeared or whatnot. So we're gonna wait a little bit. I'm gonna run out of town, pick up some parts while I'm waiting, and then when we come back, we're gonna paint it black and someday get this thing on the track. Well, we're back and ready to turn stuff black. I got one of these fancy disposable paint cup things now. Just Harbor Freight stuff, so it's probably no good, but that's what we're using. I probably mixed up way too much primer this time. I usually mix not enough, so I went overboard. Let's see, I only used this once. I think that goes a liner, and then this, and this. Somehow get it straight. Doesn't seem like it's really threading on there. Was that it? No, it doesn't seem right. Maybe that was it. And the gun has this fancy adapter on it. Well, let's see. I think I'm actually going to. Looks like I put a little plug in there last time. Just to run a little reducer through there. I, of course, cleaned it out last time I used it, but. That bad boy goes on there somehow. And voila. All right, a couple more things to do. I gotta find my mask and probably some long sleeves, and we'll get to it.
Think we're all ready to give this a go? I'm leaving you guys way back here because I don't want, epoxy all over my lens right there. So let's see how it goes.
All right, first coat's done. I purposely sprayed the first coat pretty light because that's what they recommend with this stuff. So we're gonna let it hang for half hour, 45, and try again.
1 hour later.
little time has gone by. I can finally breathe in here. It's cleared out a little bit. I can't really open the doors or windows. I have the windows open, I guess, but I can't really open the doors because there's so much cotton floating around out in the air right now from all the trees. Not only do I not want it on all my fresh painted parts, I don't really like it in the shop. It's so hard to get rid of. But take a quick walk around. Everything turned out pretty nice. No real issues. Tried to stay kind of light, like I said, on the radiator part itself. The only piece that didn't turn out super great is if you get the light just right, you can see kind of some fisheye, kind of burbly looking crap on this piece. And that's just, I just got a little heavy when I was spraying it, I think. So my fault. These all turned out pretty good. I like hanging my parts up when I spray them, but these little parts, especially like these little guys, I mean, the air just blows them around. So it's kind of a pain in the butt, but you just kind of had to kind of hold on to it. So it all worked out. I am missing, like, I didn't spray the top piece, the top bar, crossbar, whatever it would be called, that goes across the radiator support. And the reason is I bought a new one because mine was all mangled, because people always cut those out on a 55 through 57 Chevy to bend them. Usually they're just cut out of the way. Mine had been cut and bent out of the way and then put back in place and welded, and it was all mangled and bent. So I bought a new one. It's up there. And the finish, it's not exact, but it's pretty darn close, and it's probably a better looking finish than I'm gonna get on it because of my little spraying issues where I get too heavy and have those little burbles. So I decided to just leave it. If it doesn't match good enough, I can spray it when I'm spraying more stuff. But for now, we just went with how it is, factory black. I don't know if that's some sort of EPM or whatever that coating is, or whatever it is. It looks like it's on there pretty good. So I didn't do the inner fenders because we have some issues with those as well. It's kind of hard to tell because of the way I got them stacked here, but I guess if I move this one out of the way. So this would be the driver's side inner fender. And then that little piece down there, I don't know if it's called the splash panel or whatever that is. This guy and this piece. So that piece, obviously the inner fender well goes like this, and then that splash piece goes right here. And as I thought, it hits the roll bar. So I'm gonna have to either notch it out or not put that piece in, or kind of what I've decided for now is I'm gonna proceed and just kind of plan on not running the inner fenders. I'm also missing the brackets. There's some brackets that go from between right here on this firewall brace that go to that inner fender. And I had them when I took them off there, but I don't know. I can't find them in I kept most of this stuff fairly organized actually for the car, and it's not in the few boxes I have. So they're in here somewhere, I might find them, but for now, I'm gonna just proceed without the inner fenders, I think. So I'll throw I got the fenders and the hood out and got them all cleaned up. I'll probably sand these down to bare metal like the rest of the car, just kind of so the whole thing's down and we're starting over. I know there's a little bit of filler on them from that I did back in the day. The hood, you can see where the paint's missing there. It has a little like a oil canny type situation, so we tried to heat it to shrink it and it didn't work, but I'm gonna try that a little bit more. If not, it is gonna be what it is probably. So a little bit more work to do on the front sheet metal before it goes on. But before we do all that, we're gonna fire this bad boy up. But that's for another video. The rest of this video is for getting you guys caught up to speed on where we're actually at. And stay tuned, near the end I'll give you guys details about the live stream for the giveaway, for the trivia giveaway. So don't forget to stick around for that. So let's get you caught up to speed. I think where we left off, the next video was supposed to be plumbing the rear brakes. So that's all been done. I have a hard line back and then the lines going across the rear end. After that, we added the trunk mount battery, and I've been slowly whittling away at the cables and whatnot because I was waiting on pieces and parts for that, but that's all done. We've got an on-off switch here for NHRA racing. So that's all wired in. I still have to add the alternator, but I got to wire that little black coil of wire that's going up to the alternator. So I think I have that all wired right, so the car will shut off like it's supposed to. We'll go. I also made a video about that, so hopefully there'll be more details about that in another video coming soon. Let's see, we added a fuel tank. I just went ahead and got a new gas tank because I was ordering stuff, and you know, what's another couple $100, right? So we got a new tank, new sending unit, and then we hooked up our we got a filler neck here so I can get to it from our new internal gas door. So that's all good to go, hopefully. Part of the fuel system, obviously, we got new fuel line. Can't really see it from here very good, but we got braided fuel line running front to back. A Holley fuel pump mounted on the frame wheel over there. I would have liked it. It's supposed to be as close to the fuel tank as possible. That's kind of the best spot I could find for it. So hopefully that's gonna work out. But anyways, we've got all the fuel system plumbing done.
All right, let's take a little tour underneath, even though it's kind of hard to film anything and I just barely fit under here. Need to get her up in the air a little bit more, but anywho, brought my handy dandy little light with us so we can kind of see the battery cable system or whatnot and the fuel lines coming together right here. I didn't really like the way I had to kind of come out right there, but that's the way I ended up having to do it. This yellow wire I just did last night, that's the trigger wire for the fuel pump, and I wasn't quite done with that, so it's gonna, I still haven't even cut the zip ties off because it's kind of temporary. I'm gonna decide if I can wrap that or we'll do a little better on that, but that's there just so I can get the fuel pump triggered in case we want to, you know, vroom it pretty soon. Here's the fuel pump. Like I said, that's supposed to be as close to the fuel tank as possible. Fuel tank is way over there on the other side of the rear end, but it was just hard to find another place to do it. So I'm hopeful that that's going to be good enough. You know, once it gets like a siphon effect, that it'll draw fuel out of there, because these things push the fuel, they don't like pull the fuel. So anyways, I guess if it doesn't work, we'll be re-engineering all of that. But we got pre and post filters, and then the Holley blue pump, and up front we have a regulator. Let's see if I can get out of the way. We can try to show you what's on this side. Just more of the battery cable coming up, and then the fuel line. I dove to the outside and then it comes back in right there, and they go to their destination, so to speak, up there. See, we got a steel braided ground strap there. We also have, whoa, get you dizzy, awesome camera work. Another steel braided ground strap right here. So that's body to frame. That one over there is body to engine, and then in the front we have engine to frame. So hopefully we got good grounds everywhere. Let's see, I added a little reverse light switch to my shifter. I still got to wire it, but yeah, that's the tour of underneath from some of the stuff. Like I say, you'll see some of this in upcoming videos, some of it you won't, so you'll just have to watch and see what you get more details on. Let's go see the inside of the car. So inside of the car, not much has changed other than this roll bar now is a nice black color instead of metal. So we painted that possibly twice, which is kind of the theory or the motto of Montana Garage. Why do it once when you can do it twice? So I got some video coming up on that, so you'll have to check that out. And then we also have done the American Auto Wire kit. All the dash and ignition and whatnot is done. We still have to do the rear harness to the tail lights and the front harness to the headlights because, well, that stuff isn't there yet, so that's why I didn't do it. But everything that I need, I think, everything I need for the ignition and whatnot is there. I gotta kind of just double check everything before I actually hook the battery up, you know, to make sure there's nothing touching somewhere. But everything I gotta add still is just like these plugs and whatnot, so everything should be safe. These plugs are just for the cluster. That's all rewired and ready to plug in. I'm just leaving it out until I, know I have everything else done. I have a two-step for the MSD ignition, and I also have, it's kind of hard to see down here, I've wired in back here. I painted it black so it's hard to see. I got a little clutch switch in there, so that's what's going to set off or turn off the blind lock and the two-step. We'll go over that in another video someday too. But so that's inside. Let's check out the front. This generally looks about the same as probably when you guys saw it last. We have all the, obviously the MSD box, all the wiring going to that. I have just kind of some cables unhooked because I'm doing some welding. Fuel pressure regulator. Again, the fuel line coming up and going to the carburetor. I rebuilt the carburetor, so it's all ready to rumble. Painted and added the fans and the pulleys. I just got the alternator today, so we'll get that put on. And then we just have to, it's got new plugs in it. We got to obviously, plug wires need to go on there. I have them, I just haven't put them on. We have to get power to the engine, find top dead center, get the distributor in there, how it goes. It's just setting in there, but it's not, timed or phased, or it's not, how it's supposed to be. But anyways, all that stuff will be coming up on a future video when we start this thing up. That's that's where we're at now. That's kind of catching you up to speed. I know I've already said it a couple times, but hopefully I will, I have some good footage of doing this wiring and the brake lines. And I mean, there's some comedy gold in there, and there's some excellent tips to help you guys out. None of that stuff's probably true, but there's hopefully some entertainment value there, and hopefully I'll get it out to you guys soon. But that's it for our update. So there you have it. You're all caught up to speed where we're at on the 55 Chevy project out here in the Montana Garage. Full disclosure, today is May 20th. I just looked at the Rocky Mountain Race Week website. They have a handy dandy countdown calendar, live counting down. So you can look at it, you can see exactly how much time you have until you admit ultimate failure, or until you actually succeed and get to Rocky Mountain Race Week. So right now it's 34 days and 20 hours or something to that effect. I might be delusional, but I think I can still make it. And I'm still planning on seeing you guys there. So looking forward to that. The other thing we got to talk about is the giveaway. If you've been watching, you know that a few videos ago, for like 5 videos in a row, we played Montana Garage Trivia. I'll put a link up here, wherever it goes, to the first one. And then from that video, the next 5 videos in a row. If you haven't watched it, there's a trivia question. Answer the trivia question in a comment. You have a chance to win $100. I told a lot of you guys this just in individual replies or individual comments, but if you answered the trivia question in a reply to somebody else's comment, that's not going to work. It's got to be a comment. I apologize for that, but that's how it's going to work when I go to pick the winner. It's going to be from comments. I can't count replies because I don't see them unless you click on it. So anyways, just if you answered in a reply, I think I already told you this, but in case I missed you, go back and put your own comment there. Otherwise, that answer is not going to count. So we're going to do a live stream to do the giveaway, and we're going to do it Thursday night, May 25th at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Now, watch the little screen down here, and if I put a different date there, we're gonna go at that date. But I'm planning on Thursday, May 25th, just in case I don't get this video edited and put out to you guys in time. I wanna give you plenty of lead time. So Thursday, May 25th, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time, or whatever this says down here if I change it, come back to the Montana Garage YouTube channel. We're gonna do a live stream. We'll get you caught up to where maybe I get a little bit more work done this week. Maybe we'll have the car running, we'll start it up. Who knows if I get there or not. We'll just get caught up on everything. We'll talk cars and all that good stuff. And I'm pointing at the wall, you can't see it. On the other side of the wall is the DDSS 57 Chevy, and it's just been hanging out in the yard so far this spring. But I have some big news announcement coming up about that. We'll talk about that on the live stream as well. So you're not gonna wanna miss it. You guys are gonna help me pick a winner. So make sure you come, stop by, chit chat. Maybe if you're there, you don't gotta be present to win, but if you are present, you might get some stickers or something. Maybe, not everybody. Most people, there might be 2 people there, you'll both get stickers. But if there's you know what I'm trying to say. Stop by, you might win stuff. And if not, maybe you'll have fun. So all the cool people will be there. Don't miss it.